Hi guys, I'm gonna show you what to do if you ordered a extension block. Basically, we will sell the extension block in 3 different lengths: 300 for Movie XL, 180mm for Shutter with G1, and 100mm for gimbal like Ronin 2, where the batteries can hit the arm itself. So depending on what kind of gimbal you have, you might need an extension block. And to safely install these extension blocks, we added quite a few things. First, we have the new external rubber stoppers that I show you in another video how to install and use. The extension block itself is no problem, you just insert it between the roll and tilt head, but we also send out a couple new screws for you guys that we want you to replace, basically because the forces that are produced with the extension blocks is on the limit what the black arm itself handles. So if you go over our 24 kilo recommendation for the 300mm extension block, etc., these are much needed to be installed, and I'm gonna show you what to do. Basically, we start by taking off the head first. There we go. The head is removed. Let's keep it there. So, yeah, all right. The head is removed. To install these new screws, I will also remove the dampener and the springs. So let's remove the springs. All right, we're soon done removing the last spring and the last tension screw. Just gonna take off the last nuts, like so. Okay, so the springs are removed, and what we want to do now is remove the dampener, the vertical one, as well. To avoid it to slip when we take out the screws, we insert one Allen key into the hole here, and then we can start removing the screws. After some feedback from customers, we had a couple of guys that put too much tension on the stainless steel screws that we use. So basically what we ship now is custom-made hardened M4 screws that you will replace instead and use. Hopefully keeps the problem of people over-tightening the screws and the head goes off, so we can prevent that in the future. Just remember the position this dampener is in when you put it back, so it goes in the same position. This is the default position, by the way, if you already changed it. Put it on the side. Sorry for all the noise. I've seen some guys that for some reason accidentally put the wrong shaft in the wrong place. The bottom one that goes on the ball bearing is equal length on this side, and the spacer on this side. So these are equal length. On this side, where the main grip tube is, this side is shorter and this one is a longer shaft. So if you put them next to each other, you will notice that one shaft is shorter than the other, and the longer one goes into the main grip tube, and the shorter one goes into the ball bearing like this. If they are not placed like this, it will cause the dampener to be inserted into a slightly angled position, which eventually can lead to the problem that the dampener is actually breaking down and causing oil leakage. So be sure to have the shafts in this configuration. Now let's talk about changing out the screws that are placed on the bones. This is a step I want you to do for all the ones that are using any kind of extension block. So the new ones are black, which goes hand in hand with a black arm. Just let me grab some Allen keys and I will be shortly back. Okay, I found Allen key for the M6. Whenever I replace any kind of screws on the black arm, always be sure to have some kind of thread glue. Once you start reconfiguring the black arm, always use some Loctite into the new places, so we have nothing coming up while you're driving and have loads of vibration into the rig. So it's a good practice always to keep a ball of thread glue, medium one, at hand. Anyway, if you check the bone itself, it has like no play side to side, which means that if I try to twist my hand like this, there shouldn't be any play. If I lift it like so, it should enable you to freely move without friction, like sideways. But if I shake it, you shouldn't feel any play in the structure itself. It should be feeling pretty solid. I'm just gonna tie this down. So pretty much you want to be able to shake it like so and don't feel any like flexing or play into the rig, but at the same time you want it to be smoothly moving in this direction. So what I do when I change these guys out is I start replacing them one by one. Take an old one out. I take my Loctite. Sorry, I should be using some gloves right now. Take my Loctite. I add a little bit of Loctite onto there, and I start by inserting one of them, and I just screw it in very gently. No excessive force by now, so it just barely sits there, and I start continuing all the way around, replacing these screws one by one. All right, this is the last of the screws that I put in here, and I just gently take it down. Okay, so now if you tighten the screws very loose, you probably will feel some play in the arm when you do like this, when you give it a shake. And that means you want to tighten the screws more. On the other hand, you don't want to over tighten it so much that you will feel friction in the bones itself. So what you want to do is tension them one by one a little bit, feel that you have doesn't add friction to that particular bearing, and you go all the way around. Just tighten each screw one by one a little bit. Still feels very good. Yes. All right. Now I went through the whole arm. There's no play left. And I haven't over tightened the screws, so I create too much friction on the bearings. If you do, what will happen is this. I over tension one bit here. Nope, that was still fine. I'm probably gonna feel. I'm gonna. See, now I put a lot of force on that one, and it starts to get like not frictionless. It starts to create friction, and if I continue doing this on all the screws, like so, sooner or later you're gonna have a very stiff set of bones. So what I do on these guys is I just open them up a little bit, and I just use medium force to put them back, so we get rid of the friction in the arm. Like so. And now all you want to do is to let the Loctite dry a little bit before you take it into use again. You will be fine. After this, I just put the dampener back, slide it into the bones, and I'll put, of course, the springs back. And then you're good to go. Thanks.